Hey, Gaurav, I'm super happy and excited to have you join me here in New York City at our Partner AI Forum. I hope you're having an amazing day so far. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at NTT DATA.
Thank you for inviting me, Samra. Gorov Goel, I'm responsible for Global Gemini Enterprise Practice at NTT DATA. I help our customer to transform their landscape using Gemini Enterprise. And I'm very excited to be here, having a lot of fun conversation with different people.
Awesome. Good to have you. Gaurav, talk to me a little bit about, if you can recall, your first experience, interacting with Gemini, where you were like, "Wow, this is going to be a game changer." I can tell you mine. It's a very simple use case, and it sounds simple today. It wasn't the case, a couple of years ago when we embarked on this journey. I had a last minute, very critical partner board meeting invite for a presentation came up on a 24-hour notice. And I had to put a slide deck together to present to the board, partners board. I wrote down some bullet points, on a document, and I'm like, okay, now I have like 4 hours ahead of me to build kind of the slide deck, and then obviously I did what any smart person at Google would do. I went into Notebook LM, put those bullet points in, gave the prompt of what my meeting is about, who are the attendees, put in their just their names, and put Notebook LM to work. And in about 25 minutes, based on the research, LinkedIn profiles, etc., I had my first draft of the deck, and literally my work got reduced from 4 hours to maybe 45 minutes. And I won't say, quite frankly, that the first draft was perfect, but it was like 80% there, right? So it helped me from burning the midnight oil that particular evening. That's when I knew that this technology is really going to be a revolution that probably is going to be bigger than, than mobile network, than internet, maybe even compare it to when we figured out the atoms and the anatomy of the atom, quite frankly.
That's an amazing experience. And I have something similar. I tell you both personal and professional.
Sure.
Personal, my son plays a lot of soccer. After work, I spend a lot of time with him on soccer. So I did complete soccer analytics with him. Like look at his videos, put it into Gemini and analyze it, that what he needs to work on. Plus, I also take YouTube videos and put it into Notebook, Gemini Notebook, and it creates a podcast, flashcards for him to review every day, every evening.
Amazing.
So that was completely amazing. I never thought that I could do so much with the technology, and it completely changed how I look at sports. The second thing is what I use in my professional use case. So what I do, anything I want to learn on Google, right? For example, there's so many things changing, new models are coming. I just put all those articles and videos on Notebook, and it creates those sound bites, those small videos. I can just listen to them in my gym, on my commute. So my learning process has completely changed. I don't have to sit and watch anything. On the run, I can learn things what I want to.
Is your son rooting for, or was rooting for, Spain or Argentina?
Don't ask. He was rooting for Argentina.
Oh,
In
I'm sorry.
semi-final, he was in tears. That completely changed to cheers after they won. And final is a different story altogether.
We win some, we lose some.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for sharing the story. So let's talk a little bit about the enterprises that NTT DATA is engaging with. We have made tremendous progress in last 2 to 3 years around agentification of various different workflows and business processes within an enterprise. But you and I both know, depending on the industry and the market that we're dealing with, some industries are more, AI leaning forward, whereas others are laggard that are still catching up. And there's a lot of fear and misconception that still exists out in the market or in the industry within an enterprise around AI. In your experience or point of view, what's the biggest misconception enterprises have around AI adoption? And how are you all helping the enterprises to overcome that misconception and move forward and get the return on investment on AI specifically?
This is a very big question, very good question actually. And we have this conversation with almost every customer. And you will be surprised, the biggest challenge or misconception has nothing to do with AI. It's all about adoption and change management. We talk to customers so much, and everyone says, hey, this project failed, right? And it couldn't work. And the solution was technically brilliant. But 90 days later, the adoption was 20%, right? Solution works fine, but people are not using it. It's all due to change management and adoption. And we have seen three factors that impact it. The first one is related to AI was thought as a use case, like a singular siloed use case, right? And it did not existed within the business workflow, but outside workflow. So in that case, people work around it. They never use it was supposed to use. The second one is around change management. When you're doing agentic system, multi-agent system, single agent system, you have to think about how you are training your workforce, how your workforce can coexist with digital workforce. And if you're not doing that, then adoption will never be there. And the third thing we have seen is around success metrics. So success metrics was completely absent. That how you measure the solution after 30, 60, 90 days. It's not once you deploy it and leave it. You have to continuously think about it. So these are the three issues we have seen around failure on AI. Now, how NTT is doing things differently? We really think about adoption as a project, right? Not just a technology challenge. So the adoption, change management, they work as a parallel stream with technology deployment. And we don't consider a project successful until we receive 80% activation or adoption.
Very interesting. I always talk to customers and obviously to our partners, and say the biggest thing that we're looking for is adaptability in people.
Yep.
But I think it's equally important that in order for people to build the agility and adaptability muscle, we also have to help them with change management, because the world is moving much faster and the technology is innovating much faster than the enterprises can consume. And I think, partners like NTT DATA play a really big role in that. I think that's great. Maybe you can share with me, Gaurav, a use case, or even if you're seeing a repeatable pattern in enterprises across the board where you have looked at a specific workflow or a business process, how it was before deploying Gemini Enterprise, and then once you did deploy Gemini Enterprise, what changes or optimizations did you see, and what outcomes or ROI did the customer got out of it? I think I'll be very interested in that perspective.
Sure. I'll give you a recent example. Think about a retail store and you are a frontline associate. Your shift starts and the cognitive load hits. What online orders to prioritize, where the product is. If the product is not there, what is the alternative to that product? What are the compliance policies? What happens if an accident happens in a store? How will you take care of it? So many things happening in parallel, and you can't memorize everything.
Yeah.
So what you have to do, you have to take a stop, call the radio, and take someone help. So this is the problem a retail customer tried to solve in APAC, one of the biggest retail customer. So what they did, they have invested so much into data and automation, and they wanted to bring this real-time intelligence to frontline associates, so that they can enhance the customer experience, they can enhance the employee experience. And that's where NTT DATA and Google came into place. We went to these customer stores and look at the operations, where the cognitive load hits highest, where it takes the most time. And once we understood it, we brought Gemini Enterprise experience directly to these frontline workers, associates, on a handheld device. Now everything is on their fingertips. What order to prioritize, guided workflows, ticket logging, everything they can do in very quick minutes. And the results were amazing. 2.4 hours per shift returned to each associate.
Oh, wow.
100% consistency in execution across store, the same customer experience. And 85% reduction in admin friction. So those results were amazing. We were able to connect data directly to human action with real-time intelligence. And this happens when you use Gemini Enterprise as an operating layer, not just as an AI tool.
Makes sense. And last question for you, Gaurav. In this particular scenario, were you working with the customer from the beginning that the delivery of the project is outcome based, or was it around time and material?
It was outcome based. I think we have seen customer more receptive if we can show the result. But in this case also, customer was part of the entire journey. They were not like, okay, here's the project, go and do it. No, they were part of the design, discovery, and all the phases of the life cycle.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the same thing across the board. Is that when the customers are engaging, in various different aspects of the project, and also you have the buy-in not only just from the leadership but also from the ground up from the users. We're seeing a lot of success, and to your point, having an outcome-based conversation upfront with the customers are yielding much stronger ROI and result, not just for our customers but also for Google and NTT Data. We're seeing the exact same thing in the market. Thank you, Gaurav, so much for your time. Super excited to sit down here with you today.
Thank you for having me.